Woman's work is never done.
Thank you, Ida.
Don't mention it, Mom. I'll tell Mrs. Tiffany in, Mom.
You need not.
She's in the bathroom.
There's no need. Will you let me, Speaker? There is no need to disturb Mrs. Toop. I want to see the vicar.
Oh, he's in the garden.
Well, will you? Tell him I'm here, will you? Okie dokie. What an expression.
I know. Isn't it awful? I get it from her.
Her? Who?
Mrs. Toop. She's a caution.
That will do, Ida. After you've told the vicar I'm here, put my bicycle around in the garage. I think we're going to have some rain.
Yes, Miss Gillen.
And Ida, don't ride it. Wheel it.
Yes, Mom.
I didn't know you could ride a bicycle, Ida. Oh, good afternoon, Miss Skillen. So sorry I wasn't in to receive you. Penelope didn't mention you were coming to tea.
I have not come to tea, Mr. Duke. I wanted to see you.
Oh, yes, certainly. But tea is here, so won't you join us? Do sit down. Penelope. Penelope. No use. When Penelope begins her exercises, she is lost for the world. And now we'll begin, shall we?
Mr. Duke, I am hurt.
Oh dear. Where?
I am hurt. Grieved.
I am so sorry, Miss Skillen. I'm afraid I cannot offer you sugar.
No tea, thank you, Mr. Duke. I would be most grateful if I could have your undivided attention for just 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Why, of course, Miss Skillen. Certainly. 5 minutes.
It's the church decorations for the Harvest Festival.
What is?
Mr. Duke, have you been dissatisfied with my contribution to the church decorations in the past?
No, I don't think so. Why?
You will remember that I have always decorated the pulpit for the Eastern Harvest Festivals. It has always been understood that the pulpit was my special little effort. Everyone knows it. I have decorated the pulpit since
time immemorial. I know.
Not quite so long as that, Mr. Duke.
No, of course not, Miss Skillen. Do go on.
This afternoon, I arrived at the church to do my little bit, and what do I find? The pulpit has already been decorated, behind my back.
No. Who would dare to do such a thing?
No one would tell me, but I have my suspicions. I have no quarrel with you, Mr. Duke. We have always been the best of friends, have we not?
Oh, yes, undoubtedly. Do have some tea.
No tea, thank you. The best of friends, everyone knows that. So I hope what I'm about to say. Mr. Duke, I find it very difficult to concentrate with that dreadful noise. Your dear wife singing.
Yes, it is a little distracting. I'll ask her to. Penelope! Penelope!
Oh, is that you, Milo?
Yes, my dear.
I decided to bring the tea in, will you?
Tea is already in.
Oh, go easy with the biscuits.
Penelope, Miss Skillen is here.
Who?
Miss Skillen.
What about her?
She's here.
Oh.
Do hurry down, dear. Miss Skillen is hurt.
Good. I mean, I'm terribly sorry.
Such a keen sense of humor. And now where were we? Oh yes, of course, the pulpit.
Mr. Duke, I will come straight to the point. I have reason to believe the pulpit was decorated behind my back by Mrs. Toop.
Oh, dear. Yes, most awkward.
Of course, I have nothing against Mrs. Toop personally. Nothing at all. there are some who do not think it quite the thing for the vicar's wife to roam the village wearing trousers, even in these times. But as I say, we must remember that Mrs. Toop was an actress, an American actress before she married you.
Mrs. Toop was also the niece of a bishop before I married her, Miss Skillen, and still is.
Why, of course, but the stage, a curious profession.
Miss Skillen. You must forgive this, Miss Skillen, but I'm straight from the bath.
Of course, Mrs. Toop, one does get so dirty decorating the church, doesn't one?
Please. Well now, who is my mother?
Mother?
I mean, who poured out the tea? I'm dying for a cup, and I'm frightfully superstitious. The English say if two people pour out of the same pot, it's a sign of a row.
Oh.
Or that one of the pourers is going to have a baby. We don't want one yet, do we, Lionel?
Penelope, please.
I'm sure Miss Skillen doesn't.
Mrs. Toop!
I poured.
By the way, darling, do you think Mr. Watts is able mind?
Mr. Who? Really, Penelope, you do...
Oh, you know, darling. Your friend who's taking the service to you tomorrow.
You mean Humphrey?
Yes, of course, Mr. Humphrey.
Mr. Humphrey is not a friend of mine, Penelope. I have never even met the man.
Well, do you think he'll mind?
Will he mind what?
Well, darling, we ran rather short of chrysanthemums. I'm afraid the pulpit is mostly decorated with turnips and leeks. Now, Miss Skillen, more tea.
No tea, thank you.
Oh. Well, what have I done wrong now?
Penelope!
It's no use pretending I haven't erred and strayed. The air is simply filled with righteous indignation. So, Lionel, will you run along with me, good boy, and Miss Skillen and I can let our hair down and scratch each other's eyes out?
Penelope, dear, I'm sure Miss Skillen only wishes to be helpful. She has known the villagers longer than you have. She hears more of their gossip than you do.
I'll say she does.
Mr. Toop, I cannot stay here to be insulted. Mrs. Toop, you've been in this village nearly a year now, and I've never done anything but try to befriend you.
Well, then it must be my fault. I'm sorry, Miss Skillen, but the fact remains that every time we meet, I am seized with a wild desire to leap on the village green, tear off all my clothes, and dance the hula hula.
If you did, Mrs. Toop, we may be shocked, but I don't think we should be surprised.
What is it this time? The soldier in the jeep?
No, Penelope, it is not. As a matter of fact, Miss Skillen mentioned that to me yesterday. It was a most unfortunate incident.
You call waving to a soldier in a jeep an unfortunate incident?
It's what others might call it that matters, Mrs. Toop. You not only waved, you hooed.
You hooed? So I did.
Did you know the soldier, Penelope?
Not from Adam. In fact, I hardly had time to notice him. He just waved in, you hooed, so I simply waved in, you hooed right back. Didn't I, Miss Skillen?
Hardly conduct suitable for a vicar's wife, surely.
Well, I'm sorry, darling, but there are times when I forget that I'm the vicar's wife and behave like an ordinary human being.
Penelope, I resent that.
Lionel, if we are going to have a row, we are not going to have it in front of Miss Skillen.
Oh, don't mind me. I was just leaving. I'm sorry my good intentions have been so misunderstood.
Oh, Miss Skillen, I can't say how...
Don't think too much about it, Mr. Toop. I hope I can forgive and forget. I think I am broad-minded.
I'm sure you are, Miss Skillen.
Penelope, I'll see you to your bicycle.
Thank you. I am perfectly capable of mounting by myself.
Ugh! Ida!
Yes, Mom?
You can clear away the tea things, Ida.
Yes, Mom. Somebody hasn't dropped all that tape.
You can take it away. It's mine. I don't want it.
And you haven't had no biscuit? You haven't been letting her upset you now, have you, Mom? You know why she's got a knife in your back, don't you, Mom?
I think so, Ida.
So does everybody. Well, I'll say this for her. She tried hard enough, but if she had landed, God help her.
Penelope, I'm ashamed. Ashamed.
I knew it. I knew it. Off we go. Oh, one day I'll strangle that woman. What did she actually come up about this time? I never did find out.
It appears that you have decorated the pulpit for the Harvest Festival.
Well, what about it?
The pulpit has always been Miss Skillen's territory.
Oh, darling, Lionel, I didn't do it purposely. I swear I didn't. Mama will never believe it.
Penelope, I must ask you to moderate your language. You know, in your position, you should behave with a little more decor.